Hey, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. How are you tonight? Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna, coming at you with a little bit of a book review. Now, I've been reading the book by Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers, The Story of Success. And since I just came back from Europe and visited the city of Hamburg, I thought it was very appropriate that I bring this up and talk about it. Now, when you get involved in a new entrepreneurial adventure, everyone has always said that it takes 10,000 hours for you to become an expert at whatever you're doing. And that has always stuck in the back of my mind. 10,000 hours. That's a long time. That's a really long time, especially if you can only dedicate, a couple of hours at a time to what you're doing. Well, Gladwell actually wrote a whole section about the Beatles in Hamburg. And he started off by saying that, when the Beatles got to Hamburg in 1960, they were kind of like just, a bunch of guys making noise. Okay? And you have to remember that what we're talking about as the Beatles are really the three Beatles. You're talking about John, Paul, and George. Because the drummer in Hamburg was Pete Best. Okay? So, and also you had Stu Sutcliffe was part of the group as well, who was John's friend, who was on bass but really didn't know how to play bass. Okay? So, you had five guys in the band, but two guys really weren't the core of what was happening. Now, Gladwell says that when the Beatles got to Hamburg, they were playing in kind of a roundabout way with other bands. And they always needed, these clubs needed hours filled by music. And so the Beatles would be playing 5 to 8 hour sets or gigs every time they played. Now, in the course of their 2 years in Hamburg, he said the Beatles played 1,200 gigs. And that's amazing because some bands don't even play 1,200 gigs through the course of their entire existence. So the Beatles were able to actually compress the 10,000 hours into a shorter amount of time because they were playing longer and playing every day. And that's when they became, a bunch of guys making noise and turned into a tight band by 1962 when they left Hamburg and went back to Liverpool. Now, what does this mean? It means that if you have the opportunity to do something and you can actually invest more time, you'll get the result faster. It's brilliant. Now, I'm still reading the book, and I will be bringing up some more information on the book. There's a whole great section about Eastern European Jews who came over and started businesses in the garment section of Manhattan, and the transformation of what happened with their children and their children's children. How they started a business and their children worked the business, and then the children of their children became like professionals, doctors, lawyers. So there's this whole dichotomy there of how sections and different people become successful. And now I'm into the part where it's like, okay, well, how do we know, or how do we use this information that we've gotten from the first half of the book to implement in our own lives that can turn the tables and make us successful faster? That's where I'm going with that. So, again, it's Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers, The Story of Success. little section on the Beatles. Thought it was very interesting because I just returned from Hamburg, where I toured the city for a few days in the last 2 months. So, Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna, coming at you with another business tip. 10,000 hours. Shorten it, cut it, make it work for you. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.